If your temperature gauge has ever crept past the middle and made your stomach drop, this video is for you. Because engine overheating is one of those problems that whispers before it screams. Most people only react when steam starts pouring out or the car shuts itself down, but by then the damage is already in motion. What makes overheating so dangerous isn't how dramatic it looks, it's how quietly it destroys expensive parts long before total failure. Today, we're breaking down what overheating actually means, why so many drivers misjudge it, and the simple fixes that can save you from a repair bill that can easily cross $5,000 if ignored. Here's the first hard truth most people don't realize. An overheating engine usually isn't a single failure, it's a chain reaction. Cars are designed with multiple safety buffers, and the temperature gauge moving up is often the last warning, not the first. Long before that needle rises, coolant flow may already be restricted, pressure may be building where it shouldn't, or heat may be lingering inside the engine instead of being carried away. Enthusiasts often say engines don't just overheat, they are allowed to overheat. That allowance usually comes from missed maintenance, small leaks, or assumptions that the problem will fix itself. Let's talk about the most common misunderstanding. A lot of people think overheating means the engine is running hot all the time. In reality, many engines overheat only under specific conditions, like sitting in traffic, climbing hills, or running the air conditioner on a hot day. That's a clue. When overheating happens only at low speeds or idle, airflow and coolant circulation are usually the issue. When it happens at highway speeds, pressure, coolant loss, or internal engine problems are more likely. Understanding when it happens is more important than how hot it gets. Coolant is where most overheating stories begin. Not because people don't know it exists, but because they underestimate how precise the system is. Modern cooling systems aren't just about having fluid in the reservoir. The coolant has to be the right mix, at the right level, moving through the system at the right speed. Running low on coolant doesn't always cause immediate overheating, which is why so many people miss it. Instead, it creates hot spots inside the engine, slowly stressing head gaskets, warping aluminum components, and weakening seals. By the time the gauge spikes, the damage may already be done. Leaks are especially sneaky. A slow coolant leak might only show up as a faint, sweet smell after parking, or a barely noticeable drop in the overflow tank over weeks. Car forums are full of stories where drivers topped off coolant again and again without ever finding the leak, only to end up with a blown head gasket later. The reason is simple. Every time the system runs low, air enters where liquid should be, and air doesn't carry heat nearly as well. That trapped air becomes a heat pocket, and heat pockets kill engines quietly. Then there's the thermostat, one of the most misunderstood parts in the entire car. People tend to think of it as a simple on and off valve, but it's more like a gatekeeper for engine temperature. When it sticks closed or opens too late, coolant can't circulate properly. The engine heats up fast, especially during warm-up or slow driving. What makes thermostats dangerous is that they often fail intermittently before failing completely. One day the car runs fine, the next it overheats in traffic, and then it's fine again. That inconsistency tricks people into ignoring it until the failure becomes permanent. Radiators deserve more respect than they get. Over time, internal passages can clog with scale, rust, or debris, especially in cars that haven't had regular coolant changes. Externally, dirt, bugs, and road grime can block airflow without being obvious. Enthusiasts often say a radiator can look clean but still be inefficient. When a radiator can't release heat fast enough, the entire system struggles, and the engine temperature slowly climbs under load. This is one of those problems that doesn't announce itself loudly, it just erodes your margin of safety until there is none left. Cooling fans are another major culprit, especially in modern cars where electric fans do most of the work. A failed fan motor, bad relay, or faulty temperature sensor can cause overheating only at idle or low speeds. On the highway, airflow masks the issue, which again leads people to believe it's not serious. But sitting in traffic with no fan assistance allows heat to spike rapidly. Many $5,000 engine replacements started with a $200 fan issue that went unchecked because the car only overheated sometimes. Now let's talk about oil, because this part gets overlooked constantly. Engine oil doesn't just lubricate, it helps control temperature. Low oil levels or degraded oil increase friction, which increases heat. In high mileage engines, oil passages can also clog, reducing heat dissipation inside the engine block. Car enthusiasts often point out that engines with neglected oil changes tend to run hotter overall, even if the cooling system appears fine. Overheating isn't always a cooling system problem, sometimes it's an internal friction problem. Here's where things get expensive fast. Once an engine overheats beyond its designed limits, materials start to change shape. Aluminum cylinder heads can warp, head gaskets can fail, and tolerances that were once precise become compromised. At first, the symptoms are subtle. Coolant loss with no visible leak, white smoke on cold starts, rough idle, or unexplained pressure in the cooling system. This is the danger zone. At this stage, repairs are still possible, but delay pushes you toward a full engine teardown or replacement. A lot of people ask if you can drive an overheating car just a little farther. The uncomfortable truth is that every minute of overheating multiplies the damage. Engines are designed to tolerate brief temperature spikes, not sustained heat. Driving with the temperature gauge in the red is like bending a paperclip back and forth. It may not break immediately, but it will break. That's why experienced mechanics often say the most expensive mistake is continuing to drive after the warning signs appear. So what should you actually do the moment you notice overheating? The smartest move is to reduce load immediately. Turn off the air conditioner, turn on the heater to pull heat away from the engine, and find a safe place to stop. Letting the engine cool before opening the hood prevents further stress and avoids injury. Checking coolant only after the engine cools can reveal whether the issue is loss, boiling, or circulation. These small decisions can be the difference between a minor repair and a catastrophic one. Preventing overheating isn't glamorous, but it's effective. Regular coolant changes matter more than most people think because coolant degrades over time and loses its ability to transfer heat and prevent corrosion. Inspecting hoses for softness or cracks, watching for unexplained coolant loss, and paying attention to temperature behavior in different driving conditions are habits that save engines. Enthusiasts often say the temperature gauge is the most honest gauge in the car if you listen to it early. Here's the big takeaway. Overheating isn't a sudden disaster, it's a process. A slow buildup of small issues that compound into one massive failure. The $5,000 replacement doesn't happen because one part failed, it happens because several warnings were ignored. The good news is that almost every overheating story starts with signs that were visible, audible, or measurable long before the engine gave up. If your car has ever run hot, even once, don't brush it off. Investigate it, fix the root cause, and treat it seriously. Because engines don't forgive heat, they remember it. And the difference between a minor repair and a major replacement often comes down to how quickly you act the first time. That temperature needle moves somewhere it shouldn't.